always just thought it was luck, you know. In my mind, it was like, oh, they were lucky to have gotten out before the Holocaust. That was it.
Yeah.
But now I think it's more, they were smart.
Actor David Duchovny came to me hoping to learn about his paternal grandfather, Moishe Duchovny, who died when David was an infant. David knew that Moishe spent most of his life in New York City, but beyond that, he was largely a mystery. We set out to unravel that mystery, starting with a petition for American citizenship filed in 1940 by Moishe himself.
Morris Duchovny, occupation journalist. I was born in Berdichev, Russia, on June 10th, 1901. I don't know what that affects me. You've come a long way. It just makes me so sad that I didn't get to meet him, really. I know that my dad loved him. My dad used to tell me he had this lingering guilt because like the day or a few days before my grandfather died, he had called my father, and my father was busy. You know, at home, he had this baby, me, and he had my brother who was 4. And he said, I can't talk to him.
Right.
And he hung up, and that was the last time.
Oh, no, that's hard.
And I kind of feel that way. It's like, oh, you know, I missed it. You know, we missed one another on this plane of existence, right?
Yeah.
But here he is coming back.
According to this petition, Moishe was born in a region of the Russian Empire known as the Pale of Settlement, a place where Russia confined and oppressed its Jewish population. Within the Pale, Jewish people suffered an array of humiliating restrictions and were vulnerable to violence at any time. Unsurprisingly, when they were finally permitted to leave, huge numbers did so. Between 1897 and 1915, more than 1 million Russian Jews emigrated out of the Pale, most to the United States. But the Duchovnys chose a different destination, the Middle East.
List of people who traveled from Jaffa to Port Said on December 17, 1914. Abraham Duchovny, 40, origin Berdichev, occupation innkeeper. Innkeeper?
Innkeeper.
Doba, his wife, 40, origin Berdichev. Their children, Leah, 17, origin Berdichev. Moishe, 14, origin Berdichev.
Any idea what's going on there?
No.
Your great-grandparents, Abraham and Doba, and their 6 children, including your grandfather, Moishe, made their way from Russia to Jaffa, where they ran an inn.
That is nuts.
And from there, they moved to Port Said. And you know where Port Said is?
No idea. Where is it?
It's in Egypt.
Wow. So they had these little kids from Russia in Egypt now. Wow.
No family lore about any of this.
No. Nothing. Nothing.
Although the details have been forgotten, the Duchovnys had embarked on a truly perilous journey. Sometime around 1910, they traveled from Russia to the city of Jaffa, which is now in Israel, but then was in Palestine, part of the Ottoman Empire. Unfortunately, their stay in the city was brief.
Turks slay and rob Jews at Jaffa. Many acts of barbarism accompany their expulsion. Children carried off, men thrown overboard, several who resented brutality to their wives murdered. Are you saying that my family was involved in that, or is that just something that happened?
Your ancestors were among 6,000 Jewish residents of Jaffa who were deported to Egypt in December of 1914.
And treated like this?
Yeah.
Newspaper articles from the time indicate that many of Jaffa's Jews were robbed of all their possessions, meaning that David's ancestors would have arrived in Egypt with nothing. Even so, they somehow managed to pick up the pieces and move forward, giving a surprising end to this story. Less than 2 years later, Moshe and his father Abraham traveled to Greece, where they boarded a ship bound for the United States.
David, you are looking at the very moment your great-grandfather, Abraham, and your grandfather, Moshe, arrived in America.
I can't imagine their state of mind. You're always thinking of like the hope of the New World, right? And they must have had some hope, but the fear and just the dislocation, like they've been moving quite a bit for a couple of years, and it's not going well. And they're going all over the world. They're looking for a home.
Yeah, and this wasn't even their preferred destination. They just wanted to be in Palestine and run their inn.
Yeah.
Wow. What's it like to see that?
I'm proud. They ran and they ran and they got somewhere. They didn't give up.
Actor Michael Imperioli grew up very close to his grandfather, a man named Alberto Luzzi. And he knew that Alberto had a troubled childhood, largely due to a single event. Alberto's father, Michael's great-grandfather, immigrated to America from Italy and found a job cleaning train cars for what would become the New York City subway system. It was extremely dangerous work, and it led to a terrible tragedy.
Certificate of death, full name John B. Luzzi. Date of death, April 23rd, 1919. My grandfather was 5. Age 38. Occupation car cleaner, Interborough. Interborough was the subway.
Yep.
The chief cause of his death was shock, crushing of body. Contributing causes were dragged by train, accidental. I had heard that story from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it always was very disturbing, thinking of, great-grandfather being, because I knew my great-grandmother, she was alive.
No, a horrible way to die.
I mean, yeah, and he was so young.
Giovanni was struck by a train in the Bronx while working on a stretch of elevated track. And though the story of his death had been passed on, the details of his life had been forgotten. We set out to recover them and found something surprising. Giovanni was born in 1879 in Calabria, a region of southern Italy that was one of the poorest places in all of Europe. But Giovanni's parents weren't peasants. His birth record indicates that his father, Giorgio, was an attorney.
I never knew his name. I never knew anything about him at all. The fact that he was an attorney really kind of shocks me. And they call my great-great-grandmother, Julia, a gentlewoman.
That's right. They were part of the local gentry.
Wow. So gentlewoman means
A woman of class, society.
the family had
Not
some,
a peasant.
Had some money.
Yeah. A lady of leisure. This is not how you pictured your ancestors back in Italy.
No. I had no idea. No.
We don't know why Michael's great-grandfather chose to leave Calabria. He likely had a comfortable life with his parents, but he may have wanted more. Or he may simply have been a dreamer. All we know for certain is that he ended up in America, working on the subways, and suffered a tragic fate. But if he hadn't done it, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
Sitting here. No, and he probably knew that, he was going to have to do labor.
Sure.
Coming here. I'm sure he wasn't thinking it was just going to be some smooth, sailing.
Right. Michael, what does it mean to you to have this history restored?
It just fills out this picture, that I've had the same kind of picture in my mind for many, many years, and now that's changed for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
in
big
a very
time.
good way. And also for my kids to learn all this, and the rest of my family, who most of whom I'm sure don't know any of this,
Right.
and never would have. So I'm very, very grateful to you for enlightening us. It's incredible.
Actor and celebrity chef Valerie Bertinelli came to me knowing almost nothing about her mother's family tree. The reason? Valerie's mother, Nancy, lost her own mother when she was just 8 years old, and her father remarried soon after, effectively severing all connection to her maternal roots. The loss has long haunted Valerie, but we were able to recover what had seemingly disappeared, tracing Nancy's family back 3 generations to Valerie's great-great-grandfather. Would you please read his name?
William David Chambers.
And when was he born?
16th of July, 1847, 1850, likely in Cecil County, Maryland.
And you've never heard of him? And you've never heard of any of those ancestors all the way up?
No.
What's it like to see that?
It makes me miss my mother, because she would have loved this.
Yeah.
She would have really loved this. She missed having, she missed having a connection with her mother. Oh my God, she never even knew her grandfather's names. Wow. Oh, Mom, I wish you could see this.
Valerie's mother would likely have especially enjoyed seeing what was coming next. We found her ancestor, William, in the 1875 city directory for Wilmington, Delaware, working at a factory that made steel bolts for the railroads. At the time, the railroad industry was booming, and William's skills would have been in demand all across the United States. But William set his sights elsewhere.
Passengers taken aboard the steamship City of Para at Rio de Janeiro?
Yes, that's right.
Name William Chambers, age 27 years old. He went to Rio?
Your great-great-grandfather went to Brazil.
Wow! Wow!
Here he is on a ship sailing back from Rio de Janeiro. You've never heard anything at all about this?
No!
Any idea what he may have been doing in Brazil in the 1870s?
No!
William was in Brazil for one simple reason: money. He joined an expedition to work on a railroad designed to transport rubber out of the Amazon jungle. Labor shortages in the region led the project's funders to try to lure American workers to the site with promises of high wages. William heard the call, but the job turned into a nightmare. After 7 months, his team had managed to lay only 4 miles of track, and they'd paid an extraordinary price. The Americans suffered a mortality rate of roughly 24%, meaning 1 in 4 died.
Wow.
So your ancestor was very lucky to get back home alive. What do you imagine William felt when he got off that ship and stepped on the U.S.?
Thank God. I'm sure he was so happy to be home.
What do you think he did next?
I have no idea.
Please turn the page. Valerie, these are city directories and census documents for Camden, New Jersey, between the years 1897 and 1905. Valerie, would you please read the occupation that your ancestor had in 1910?
He was a baker.
He was a baker.
He was a baker. It goes down through my history.
You got it. He was a baker.
Oh my God. He was a baker.
Yeah, he was a baker, a professional baker. How do you feel knowing that you and this guy shared a passion
And how does it make you feel having this unknown, totally unknown branch of your family tree restored to you?
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. And I can't wait to share it with my family. I mean, I wish Mom was here to hear it, but I'm so grateful.
Actor Claire Danes came to me hoping to learn about her paternal grandmother, Claire Tomowsky, who died of a brain aneurysm when she was just 42 years old. While Claire bears her grandmother's name, she knows very little about her life. In the archives of the Washington State University libraries, we discovered that the two shared a passion: theater. Indeed, Claire's grandmother wrote a master's thesis on William Shakespeare. What's it like for you to see that?
Profound. That's really, really meaningful. It just is. I mean, obviously, I'm named after her, and I wonder about her a lot. I have a portrait of her that my parents loaned me, and I stare at it all the time. You know, who were you? But I think we would get along.
Absolutely.
I think we have common interests.
And no one ever mentioned this. I
No.
wonder, you think your father knows?
No.
The connection between Claire and her grandmother was even deeper than it first appeared, as evidenced by two newspaper articles we found from 1939, written while her grandmother was still in school.
Claire Tomowsky, a graduate student, is directing. Oh, snap. Yeah.
And that one?
Wow. Wow. Former Spokane girl chosen for play role. Claire Tomowsky Danes has been selected to supervise the construction of the costumes for Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard. Mrs. Danes has been outstanding in the technical field of the theater while working toward her master's degree. Oh, my goodness.
How about that?
Wow. That's very moving, actually. That's really... It's kind of amazing. Sorry, it's very provocative, all this.
It is.
Yeah, it's like the most vital stuff, right?
Oh, it is. And it's right there in your family tree. It's just remarkable.
It really is. It really is.
It's hiding in the branches.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. The cherry orchard, talking of branches. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're Claire Jr.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Hot damn.
I think it's cool.
It's so cool.
This branch of Claire's tree had another surprise in store. Moving back one generation, we came to Claire's great-grandmother, Elva Tomowsky. In 1936, Elva lost her husband to a heart attack. She was 48 years old and was suddenly left to pick up the pieces of her family and her husband's business, an advertising agency. At the time, women were largely excluded from corporate America, but that fact didn't deter Elva.
Tomowsky Advertising Agency, Spokane, now headed by Mrs. Elva Tomowsky as president and general manager following the death of the founder of the firm.
Elva took over as
How?
president of the company.
That can't have been
Common.
typical.
No,
Yeah.
not in the 1930s.
These are some impressive broads.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Your great-grandmother was way ahead of her time.
That's amazing.
Actor Ed O'Neill has an unlikely hero hidden in the branches of his family tree. The story begins with his third great-grandparents, Bridget and James Tyrrell. Bridget and James were Irish immigrants, living in Ohio when the Civil War erupted. They soon saw two of their sons join the Union Army and end up hospitalized. Ed wondered how the couple must have felt, waiting at home, knowing that their sons were suffering. But as it turns out, Bridget wasn't at home at all. Bridget was serving in the Union Army herself as a nurse.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall when she decided to go
Yeah.
and say, where are you going?
Right. Yeah. You were doing what? You're not doing that.
How are you getting there?
Yeah.
You're going through the
Yeah.
war places.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Bridget tended to the wounded in what was known as Brown Hospital in Louisville, Kentucky. There's no evidence that she had any medical training at all, but that likely didn't matter. As reports suggest, the hospital was desperate for whatever help it could get.
Brown Hospital has received most of the patients from the Army. This hospital is entirely too much crowded for its capacity and number of surgeons and nurses. The patients have not been able to receive the attention they should.
That's where she worked.
Oh my God.
At the hospital where Bridget
What is
worked.
that?
That's it.
Oh my God.
It's
like a shack.
That is
it's
Brown.
an elongated shack.
That is Brown Hospital, man.
Oh my God. It doesn't
You
look
imagine
like
how
any hospital I ever saw.
Imagine how it smelled. Just to start with that.
God. She probably watched a lot of men die
Oh yeah.
every day.
Yeah. Big time.
I would love to have known her.
Yeah. She had grit, man.
Oh yeah.
I want to show you something else. Please turn the page.
This is amazing.
Fast forward to the year 1897. This is Bridget's obituary.
During the late war, Mrs. Tyrrell had 2 sons and 15 nephews in the Northern Army and made several trips to the southern battlefields to administer to their wants. Many a dying soldier blessed her for her kindness and care with their last breath. So that was sort of what I thought
Absolutely.
was a big part of her job.
Yeah.
It would be.
It was holding people's hands who were staring into the terror of death.
Oh, my God. That's incredible.
That's incredible.
That's moving.
I don't know what she was like to live with, but she was great. she performed nobly. And according to her obituary, Bridget made several trips to care for her
Yes,
family
yes.
during the war. What's it like to see that, man?
When would you say to your husband, I'm going back down
Yeah.
for another
Yeah, a tour.
tour?
Yeah,
I'm going again.
yeah, whether you like it or not.
Several means at least 3,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Oh, that's just incredible.
It is.
Boy, I'm glad I came here today.
Legendary comedian Carol Burnett came to me with a mystery. Carol knew that her maternal grandmother, whom she called Nanny, had several different husbands when her mother was a child. Carol wanted to know which of those husbands was her mother's biological father. That question had been haunting Carol for decades.
I was writing a memoir. So I called my cousin, said, cousin, okay, I want to get all these husbands, straight and everything. I said, okay, now, Nanny was married to Mr. Creighton first, and he had your mother, and then my mama later. And my cousin said, no, your mama was Mr. Milton's daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I said, it can't be, I never knew. She said, oh, everybody knew it. And I said, but why would my mama name me Carol Creighton Burnett
Right,
if she was a Melton?
right.
Which then made me think, did my mother know that she wasn't a Creighton? So I kind of just would love to find out if I'm a Creighton or a Melton.
To answer Carol's question, we turned to the archives. We saw that her grandmother, a woman named May Jones, married William Creighton when she was 20 years old and gave birth to Carol's mother, Ina, roughly 6 years later. Since William and May didn't divorce until Ina was almost 5, it seemed likely that William Creighton was Ina's father. But then we read the transcript of William and May's divorce.
William H. Creighton denies that he abandoned Plaintiff. Plaintiff has bestowed her love and affections on numerous other men, kept up a correspondence with them, entered into questionable relations of undue intimacy, oh my God, that she has been engaged in correspondence and an undue familiarity with a young man at Belleville, and they have engaged to become married as soon as she is released by divorce. Woo! She was a trip.
The young man mentioned in William's testimony was Herman Melton, whom Carol's grandmother did indeed marry almost immediately after divorcing William. And while it's possible that Herman had an affair with May when she was still married to William, it seems that May and Herman had troubles of their own. Would you please turn the page?
Uh-oh.
Carol, this is a record from Yell County, Arkansas. It's dated November 13th, 1919. Would you please read the transcribed section?
My name is Herman D. Melton. I am the plaintiff. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to laugh or I cry. I'm the plaintiff in this case. I was married to the defendant and lived as husband and wife until September 1918, at which time I left the defendant. She told me that she did not love me and that the only man she ever loved was her former husband, whom she had separated from before she married me. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow. Wow.
At this point, we didn't know who Carol's grandfather was. Though the paper trail made William seem more likely, we couldn't rule Herman out. So, we turned to DNA. We compared Carol's genetic profile to that of millions of other people in publicly available databases. When we found matches, we compared their family trees to hers, trying to see how they might be related. And eventually, we made a breakthrough. Are you ready to meet your grandfather?
Yeah.
Could you please turn the page?
William Henry Creighton.
William Henry Creighton is in fact your biological grandfather.
Whoa.
There is no doubt about it.
Wow. I'll be darned.
You came by your middle name, honestly.
Honestly. Yeah.
Could you please turn the page?
Oh, there's Bill Creighton.
There's your grandmother and Bill Creighton.
Yeah.
Those are your grandparents.
Yeah.
Those are your biological grandparents. What's it like to see that now, knowing that this mystery finally has been put to rest?
My heart is going boom, 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 boom. But I'm glad I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
Actor Ted Danson grew up in Arizona. And although Ted knew that his roots lay in the East, he had no idea how far back they stretched, or that one of his ancestors had played a significant role in early American history. The story begins in the year 1633, when Ted's 10th great-grandmother, a woman named Anne Hutchinson, moved from England to colonial Massachusetts. Anne and her husband were Puritans, driven to the New World by their religious beliefs. But Anne was not a typical Puritan. Soon after her arrival, she began organizing prayer meetings with other women in her own home. This was not done. She was
Good for
organizing
her.
women
Well done.
to think, to read,
Well done.
to interpret.
Oh, I like that.
And not everyone
No.
was amused.
No, I imagine not. How'd her husband do?
Let's find out how the whole town did.
Oh, really? Oh, no. Don't burn her, please. Don't burn her.
Please turn the page. As Anne's prayer meetings grew in popularity, she began to criticize the sermons of Puritan ministers, throwing herself into direct conflict with the colony's religious establishment. It was heresy. I mean, it was so radical. This woman is famous, man.
Wow.
Big time famous.
Oh, I love this.
Yes.
I love this.
Anne created a crisis in the Puritan world by claiming that she was communicating directly with God and that she could interpret the scriptures on her own. In 1637, she was brought before the civil authorities of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, including its governor, John Winthrop.
Mrs. Hutchinson, you are called here as one of those that have troubled the peace of the Commonwealth and the churches here. And you have maintained a meeting and an assembly in your house that hath been condemned by the General Assembly as a thing not tolerable, nor comely in the sight of God, nor fitting for your sex.
Nor fitting for your sex.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good for your grandma.
Don't look good for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Shame on them.
A transcript of Anne's examination has survived in the Massachusetts State Archives. It contains a powerful defense made by Anne herself in front of the entire court.
You have no power over my body. Neither can you do me any harm. Wow. For I am in the hands of the eternal Jehovah, my Savior. I am at his appointment. Therefore take heed how you proceed against me. For I know that for this you go about to do to me, God will ruin you and your posterity and this whole state. Well, she fought back. You may kill me, but you and the whole state are going to go. I love the first part. You have no power over my body. Neither can you do me any harm.
Isn't that
For I am in
beautiful?
the hands of the eternal Jehovah, my Savior.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah, it almost felt like Joan of Arc. I mean, you have
Yes.
no power over my body.
Very much a Joan of Arc kind of figure.
Yeah.
Anne would pay a heavy price for her words. After a grueling trial, she was banished forever from the colony. But Anne would live on in history. Indeed, today she's remembered as a feminist pioneer and celebrated for her courage. A fact that would prove especially meaningful to Ted.
You know, it's funny. It's like I admire men. I love their company. It's very relaxing to hang out with them. But there's been part of me that's always going, but I can't stay long because really, the answer's over there.
I sympathize with that.
You know, and I'm married to a very strong woman.
Indeed you are.
And I'm surrounded by and friends with very strong women. And it's really, really interesting to know about Anne. Yeah.
Actor Ty Burrell told me something that none of my white guests had ever told me before. He said that when he was a teenager, he had heard a family rumor that his great-grandfather, a man named George Weeks, was black. I'm fascinated as a student of African American history. So you come home one day and your parents got something we have to talk about. And you go, oh my God, they're getting a divorce. Tell me what happened.
Well, it wasn't a somber thing. My mom was like, we just found out some pretty cool stuff.
To see if this rumor was true, we turned to the paper trail. In the 1930 census for Oregon, we saw that George was listed as white, which didn't surprise us because family stories are often wrong. But moving back one decade to the 1920 census, we saw George's race described in a very different way.
Weeks, George, Moo.
Do you know what MU?
Mulatto?
Mulatto.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Ty Burrell, talk about a modern family, bro. Sent here by Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson to welcome you. Welcome you
Thank
to
you so much.
The term mulatto strongly suggested that George had African ancestry. And digging deeper, we found that he was actually listed in the 1900 census as a black man, which means that between 1900 and 1930, George's identity underwent a transformation from black to mulatto to white. And something else caught my attention as well, George's home state. In 1900, while more than 400,000 people lived in Oregon, only about 1,000 of them were African American. That's less than 0.5%. So what was Ty Burrell's black great-grandfather doing in white rural Oregon?
It's hard to even imagine what that would be like for them. There were no black people there.
None.
Zero.
Right.
No, zero.
That's true. It's like they got lost. Like Harlem is 3,000 miles go east. To understand how the Weeks family ended up in Oregon, we focused on George's mother, Susanna Weeks. Records show that in 1840, Susanna was a free person of color, living in slaveholding Tennessee, and that over the next 20 years, she traveled more than 2,500 miles, essentially crossing the country to arrive in Oregon, where she applied for a homestead grant.
The claim of Susan Weeks has been established and duly consummated in uniformity to law for the 160 acres. She did that? That's insane.
Susanna became the legal owner of that land.
That is badass.
And there she is. Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen that. She looks tough. I just in complete admiration. I wish I could say I related to the toughness.
That's how your family got to Oregon.
I have a hard time going for a long walk in the cold.
What happened? You took after the white side.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. That is truly incredible.
You come from a fascinating background.
Makes me proud. Yeah.
Actor Eric Stonestreet grew up feeling very attached to his grandmother, Helen, and to their shared roots in rural Kansas. But Eric knew nothing about his ancestor who had actually planted those roots. Helen's grandfather, a man named William Kiekert. William was born in what is now Germany and trained to be a brewer. But when he was in his early 20s, he saw an opportunity to change his life and set off to the United States. Within 4 years, he was in Kansas, where he filed an application under the Preemption Act, a law that enabled settlers to purchase federal land at a very low cost. There was just one catch. To get his land, William had to improve it, so the brewer became a farmer and started working very hard. Eric, this is an application form submitted to the Larned, Kansas Land Office in the year 1886. Would you please read the transcription?
I, Wilhelm Kiekert, dug a well and built a sod house, 12 by 12 foot shingle roof, 1 door, 2 windows, dugout stable, stone cellar, 12 acres, plowed, and cultivated the crops.
Isn't that so cool?
That is so cool. Yeah, that's I've never seen that before. This is him creating a new life for himself and literally cultivating the ground for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's unreal.
Thanks to his efforts, William was allowed to purchase 160 acres for only $1.25 per acre. Then he began raising a family. By the early 20th century, he and his wife Anna, a fellow German immigrant, had 7 American-born children. But for all their success, William and Anna remained vulnerable. In 1917, the United States entered World War I. Suddenly, German Americans were under suspicion. They were required to register with the federal government, follow a host of regulations, or face arrest.
I, William Kiekert, hereby register as an alien enemy at Police Headquarters, City Hall, Kansas City.
As you can see, he was fingerprinted like a criminal.
Oh my gosh. He did this because he had to?
Because he had to.
He had to either show up or risk.
You would go to jail.
Got it.
Or be deported. And just as sad, on the left, you could see William's wife Anna's registration form as well.
they had to register officially as alien enemies.
Ooh, boy. I just think about digging the well and building a life for your family and then all of a sudden having to do this.
Right.
The word alien enemy is so crazy to me that he had to sign a piece of paper saying he was that.
Yeah. But what's interesting to me is that this story didn't make it down in your family.
Yeah, I personally have never heard this. We're getting close to my grandma being born here in 1918.
That's right, 1918. If William and Anna had been bitter, they would have been justified. During the war, the United States government sent roughly 6,000 Germans to internment camps and seized $500 million worth of private property. Yet Eric's ancestors endured these years of prejudice and persecution seemingly without complaint. In fact, soon after the war ended, William did something that suggested he was quite happy in his new homeland. He applied to become a citizen.
1921 is when my great-grandfather became a United States citizen.
And you know what's curious? He's a bit of a trickster. Remember that document when he applied under the Preemption Act?
Yeah.
He said he was a naturalized citizen, but he wasn't.
Well, I lied on my resume and said I could juggle,
Yeah.
and I couldn't.
Well, it's a great tradition.
I have chills.
Actor Tamera Mowry came to fame alongside her twin sister Tia Mowry in the hit sitcom Sister Sister. Their roots stretch back generations in the Bahamas. And hidden within those roots was a poignant story. Tamera's third great-grandmother, a woman named Margaret Roll, was born around 1830, when the Bahamas were part of the British Empire, with an economy driven by slave labor. Searching for evidence of her life, we discovered that Margaret was a victim of that economy.
Return of slaves on the 31st day of July, 1834. Number 136, Margaret Raleigh, age 9 years and 7 months. Black, Creole, field laborer on owner's land. Wow.
What's it like to see a 9-year-old child listed as a field laborer on an official document?
You know, when you're that young, I know my kids, you want to protect them, you want them to keep that innocence.
Yeah.
But for Margaret, that did not exist.
That innocence was long gone.
Yes.
Slavery was abolished throughout the British Empire the year that this document was recorded. But Margaret's life likely didn't change much, at least not at first. The law that freed her also established an apprenticeship period, 4 years during which formerly enslaved people had to work for their former owners with no pay. So Margaret was likely at least 13 years old before she was able to truly experience emancipation.
Let me ask you this. What do you think Margaret would have made of you?
She'd be proud.
Oh, no question. She would be proud.
But you just feel so, she had to go through that.
Yeah.
As a child. I wonder what she did to escape her current situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What were her thoughts of hope?
What's her flights of fancy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then to, finally be free. And what that felt like. That first breath
And she was old enough to be conscious of.
That's yes.
I was this,
and
and
now
now I'm
there's
that.
this.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
You know, just that moment of
There is a grace note to this story. Records show that Margaret was enslaved by a British baron named John Roll, which links her to a very significant event in the history of the Bahamas. In 1830, enslaved people on Roll's estate rose up in what became known as Pompey's Revolt. Though they didn't win their freedom, the rebels won some concessions, and their actions lived on in memory, providing inspiration and hope to generations.
So, now think about this. Your third great-grandmother, Margaret, was born on Roll's plantation just 4 years earlier in 1825, so she would have been alive when that rebellion took
Yes.
place. By extension, there's a chance that Margaret's parents,
Yes.
your fourth great-grandparents, unnamed, still lived on the plantation and may very well have taken
Yeah.
an active part in these events. But what's it like to learn this, to think that your ancestors lived through this important moment in the history of the Bahamas? This is like Nat Turner's rebellion.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Discovering our ancestors can change our lives, helping us to understand more fully who we are, where we came from, and how we're all connected to a much larger world. To see more incredible family history stories, click here. And thank you for watching.